Hey guys, Crafty here from Living in Beta, and in today's video we'll be showcasing 10 of the more secret locations added throughout Night City, looking at where they reside and if they could lead to other things in the future. Majority of these will be new finds in patch 1.5, but we have also included a couple that you may have missed previously since the game's release. CD Projekt Red have a history of adding Easter eggs to their games in the form of nods to other franchises or potentially hints to their own. This is to not only create that feeling of the world being alive around us, but a lot of the time these things set up avenues that are to come in the future, or tie up loose story ends that may have been forgotten throughout our travels. Now of course, it is important to mention that there is a lot larger list of secrets added throughout Cyberpunk's game world. This is just some of the things that we have found interesting. If there is more you think we should cover, or some things you have found that are your favourites, let us know down in the comments below. We would love to have a chat with our community as always. On that point, I also quickly want to use this time to thank you all for your interaction on our community tab. It's great to get on-the-spot feedback, engage everyone's opinions on certain matters. There's a lot more to come through there, so if you haven't checked it out already, please do so. Right, enough of my jibber jabber, let's turn off the lights and delve into the hidden underbelly of Night City. Now our first secret location today brings us to the Hayward area of Night City. More specifically, the left hand side on this kind of pier dock area. The closest fast travel point being Corporation Street, or if you fancy a swim you can always go to Canary Plaza and jump the fence. Now you want to make your way all the way down to the end, and most notably past this group of enemies. Now the first thing to notice here, if I just pull out my blade in a Kill Bill style, after you pass these barriers, you know, normally would think you could have combat with these enemies and just pick them off. But you'll notice that V puts her or his weapons away and you can no longer go into combat. And it's quite interesting to note that as well. I don't really know if there's a reason for that, but it's interesting to note. You can also see that the gentleman on his phone, although he's pretending to be on Tinder, is on the same website or same information being displayed that we're going to see in a second. Keep that in your brain for now. So you want to make your way down the stairs, and you'll see the lovely lady Angie at the end of the pier looking very upset. She's probably done her walk of shame, lost her phone and keys. We've all done it. They had a little party on the end of the pier last night and things have gone a bit crazy, and now she's like, how am I going to get in my crib? Well, don't worry Angie, we're here to help. You'll see down here there's obviously the water. Now, you wouldn't noticeably know this, but what you want to do is dive in. Once you dive in, you want to use your scanner and you'll see a little exclamation mark icon will pick up, and you'll notice you can find good old Angie's missing key so she can return home and Netflix and chill. So you'll go up here and you'll give the key back to Angie. She'll obviously notably be very, very happy. Wipes her eyes. Says thank you, hopefully, in a second once she's done picking her nose. There you go. Thank you so much indeed. And then she's going to get a device out of her pocket, or her backside. And what you'll notice here is Angie's got the same information displayed as the gentleman did up the stairs. And it looks like a data pad with some information on stock prices, etc. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know anything too crazy about this. There is lots of rumours around on Reddit with regards to this linking to something that CD Projekt Red are going to do in the future. So it's interesting to note. There's some dates and times, etc. on there as well. Maybe a location or a time frame that they may release some sort of DLC. But it's interesting to note that that data pad there does match the information that the gentleman up there has. And we also can't scrap these people here. So is this a gathering of people that, you know, are united under one cause, or, you know, should we be hanging around and waiting for something crazy to happen? Who knows, but it is very, very interesting. To further add fuel to the fire of Angie's little storyline with the key, it's not something that CD Projekt Red does lightly, as we can see here in the city centre. Firstly, if you want to come up to the top right hand corner of the city centre, closest fast travel point being the Ring Road, or you could even come across here to Silk Road West, you'll notice on the bridge there's a car, door opened, the barrier a little bit crashed into, a hand blood mark, and then an archived conversation between Carter Smith and Susan Abernathy, who some of you may mention from the Corpo prologue intro mission. If you read this, you'll notice that it's a big conversation between Carter Smith and Susan Abernathy, where they're talking about disciplinary action, firing, and what could actually happen to Carter Smith if any of the information that person knew got out. Now, it's important to know Carter Smith was actually an assistant to Jenkins, who, as we know in the prologue mission, wanted to actually off Susan Abernathy, but it looks like that Carter Smith also got himself in trouble with Susan. Now, sadly, it seems that Carter climbed up onto the barrier, had one last swig of whatever alcohol he fancied, and then jumped off into the water. Looking like that even though he was worried about Jenkins, he was also worried that Susan Abernathy might have offed his life as well. And you can see here, once you find his body in the water, ironically, it looks like he's been shot, but that may just be blood from the fall. He's got his weapon on him, but there is also another archived conversation between Carter and his mum. He's obviously a little bit emotional around what's happening and trying to let his mum know the situation. But yeah, you can see that CD Projekt Red do use things like this to bridge story gaps or make us think about things that could happen in the future. So is that key really just a key, or is Angie the key herself to unlocking further quests? The next secret location brings us to the Watson area of Night City, more specifically the Kabuki part of Watson. Closest fast travel point being Creek Loop, which is where my character currently resides, and then of course Sutter Street, across the road there. Now, when you land at the fast travel point, want to cross the road, dodge this geezer and watch out for the obviously the hardest boss in the game, which is the traffic. Come down these stairs and you'll see this kind of gutter, sewage area which you want to hop into. Now this kind of navigates around Kabuki quite nicely. You can get from A to B in this kind of area. What you want to do is hop up there or crouch going under. You want to come to this broken part of the road where we get our first tiny little secret. As you can see, there's an exclamation mark in the water with some loot. As you approach, you'll realise that there is a gentleman inside the water with his car nosedived into the pond itself. And when you highlight over him and read the attached archived conversation, you'll see that Mr. Phillip tried explaining to Gina how much he loved her and how he won big. Gina did not take it very well and told him not to come home, called him a classic gonk, and called him a drunk, essentially. As you reminisce over this, you obviously loot his dead body, because that's what we do in this game. You'll contemplate whether this is the Cyberpunk's version of Romeo and Juliet, and then you'll get yourself out of the water, because that's not what we're here for. Then you make your way through the gutters again, all the way to the end, where you'll see a bent over robot in the distance, as you can see there. This is what we come here for. So you approach the robot, there's some loot in the background, nothing really crazy there. If we just highlight over it and let you know. So I think it's a champagne bucket and cheese knives, yeah. So, I mean, signs of a good night, but hey, nothing to worry about. And the robot itself needs repairing. Now, you'll need 18 tech ability to do this. Bear that in mind. Once you upload whatever needs to be uploaded and repair it, it will start activating like a combat bot that Coach Fred has when you first meet him in Night City as well, of course, at the start of the game. You'll then activate the bot, and it will start doing a classic Dad at a Wedding dance, which we all know and love. For those of us who pretend to like going to a club and don't, this is what we do in the corner with a beer in our hand. Now, CD Projekt Red do actually like putting these robots around the game itself. Night City is housed to many of them. If you remember, there's a door you can unlock with 18, I think it was 18 to 20 body. It may have been reduced now to 16 body, where you would open a door as in the Dewdrop Motel when you're doing the drug-related side quest. As you enter, there's two robots doing a cheeky lap dance as well. So something they clearly like to do. Let me know in the comments if there's any more robots you found doing crazy things around Night City, because it'd be awesome to see if there's any other nuggets of information out there. But yeah, very interesting. A little bit sad he's not doing the robot, but maybe that would be slightly too cliche. Our next secret location brings us to the Westbrook area of Night City, more specifically Japantown. Closest fast travel point being Lele Park, but of course you could, fast travel further away down in Delamain HQ if you like. The most important thing is to end up on the corner of this kind of junction area here. And what you'll notice is the barrier that's blocking us falling into the water has an extra section on the end now with a button that you can press. Essentially, it says don't press this button after dark. Now, if you press it in the situation now where it's a little bit lighter, different lyrics will pop up for you to notice. So if you turn it on, it says don't press after dark. You turn it off and a different lyric will pop up. It's quite interesting. The links down to what all the songs the lyrics are from will be down below in the description. There's a Reddit page which is depicted where these lyrics come from. Now, if we actually skip time to a time where it's a little bit darker, even though it's 8:22 p.m, it's not quite as dark as we need. And then we can see what the button actually does do when we press it after dark. So once it's loaded, you can see now we're back in this area. It's quite lit up. And if you press the button, the lights turn on. Press it again, the lights turn off. So essentially, it's just CD Projekt Red maybe trolling us. It's quite a good little Easter egg though when you think about it, because all the main storylines have their quest names that are linked to song types. You know, Play It Safe, Maptown Pelion. Most of these are song lyrics or song names to well-known songs. So having another kind of Easter egg in the game that depicts a music vibe, and also just having it turn lights on and off is pretty cool as well. Will this lead to other things in the future? Who knows? What a great find, or what a pointless button, who knows? Some of you may remember our good friend Ozob Bozo, a member of the Killer Clown gang who had a nicely placed grenade stuck in his face. If you haven't done the quest Send in the Clowns or Beat on the Brat Pacifica just yet, then I highly recommend you giving them a search and doing so when you can in your game. Now, linked to this gang is a vehicle that can be found on our travels. If you come to the Westbrook area again and to the fast travel point that I am currently residing on, Skyline and Salinas, once you land, you'll see across the road there's a parking sign. So if you cross the road safely, always looking left and right of course, you'll come into a parking area, and on your left you'll notice a clown van. Now this of course is a van that you can see around the game quite often, but with this kind of details and the clown signs etc on it, it's obviously very specific. If you highlight over it using your optics of course, noticeably in the info it says rated F during crash testing. Experts reportedly said it behaved like a guillotine combined with a meat grinder during collisions, which I thought was pretty fun and cool anyway. Now to get this off and drive it around, I don't see an easy way to do this, so I've just jumped up naturally. Obviously you don't need to have the double jump, you can climb up and get in the vehicle itself. Now I won't lie, this is not going to be graceful when it comes to reversing it off, but I will drive forward and then reverse it high speed, hoping that you can wiggle it about and it falls off like there. Of course, that's very realistic to how driving works in real life, right? Now, the van itself is very quick, pretty awesome to drive around. Sadly, they've missed a trick by not having a clown horn on the horn. I thought that would be pretty cool. And also, notably, this doesn't become a vehicle that becomes yours. This is just a vehicle that you can have until, of course, you blow it up or lose it on your travels, as we all do. But I thought it was a good little nod. Having the clown gang as well, you know, in a few missions already, having their vehicle dicking about in Night City as well is pretty awesome. Hopefully it's something we can do more with. And again, I know I've mentioned in the community tab many a time about maybe having DLC which focuses around gangs as well. So it's this little cool vehicle. Try it out, test it, let me know if you found any of these around the map yourselves, or if you've seen the clown gang hanging out anywhere else. I would love to go see where they are. Now, our next secret location brings us to the Badlands area of Night City, where all the secret, hidden events happen, right? Where no one gets seen or caught doing whatever they want to do. But more specifically, we're going to be landing at the desert film set location, and then make your way wandering into the wilderness of the Badlands itself up to about this marker here. If you want to know exactly, you know, you can see, kind of use your eye across the road to work out where I am. Now, you'll stumble across a group of what can only be fanatics dancing around a fire pit, just like, you know, the chiefs of old. And as you approach, you can see there's already some weapons, etc. on the floor. The people themselves don't really say much. They're just breaking it down, doing their job, doing what needs to be done. A couple of max stock things there to help them survive, I guess. If we just pick up this loot and read this, the final discovery of Luis Torres. A year has passed since we last heard from Gonzalo Torres, the bold traveller seeking to unravel the secret of a mysterious syncretic cult. Well, there you go, it's a cult. Torres first stumbled upon traces of the sect while in Yugoslavia, where he discovered the remains of a fascinating mural depicting dancers of a forgotten culture. There you go. That's where the dancing comes from, right? And the scientific community dismissed it. Of course they did. Undeterred, Torres continued to search, which took him to such far-flung places as Mongolia, New Zealand, Peru, and Madagascar, not quite Venezuela, from which he never returned. As he slowly pieced together the cult's international puzzle, he saw it all pointed to a powerful ritual based on a trance-like dance, puzzling incantations, and sacrificed offerings fed to the flames. From his final notes, we learn he attempted to perform the ceremony. However, his last words give a mysterious warning: be careful which one you invite to the fire. Now you can see here, it's starting to smoke and get a bit misty or foggy or a sandstorm. And then crazily, your screen goes mental and everyone dies. Now, classic, easily obtainable loot right here. I wouldn't call this a glitch, but we could maybe put this in our exploit video, things where you can get loot all the time. Maybe we can come back here every few weeks and see if anyone else does reside around this fire. But yeah, a nice little cult gathering, something that's very interesting in a part of the map where, you may never ever go to as well, which, I think we need to give a nod to CD Projekt Red for this, because this is things happening in the world that you may just stumble upon or may never even notice that exists. What's the point in doing stuff like that? For no other reason than just to make the world feel alive. Remaining in the Badlands, the next secret location is something that's very, very close to my heart. So first you want to come, as I said, remain in the Badlands, the closest fast travel point being Regional Airport, and you'll make your way over to where my character currently resides just now. Then as you approach, you'll notice maybe a similar image for those who are a lover of all Fallout things like myself. Fallout games are something that I literally probably got me into the RPG genre, so when you approach you can see a 101 on the door, a vault style door, and as you delve deeper, you've got these kind of robot figures which are very prominent in the Fallout games. And once you obviously loot this guy's body, you can see a conversation here where Albert is talking to Gary about LARPing, and essentially a live action roleplay pretending to be people who are vault dwellers or bunker dwellers, as they said, after surviving a nuclear holocaust, which is very, very cool. As they said, it's not much as pretend as reenact. We already have this new storyline planned out. We leave the safety of a bunker 101 for the first time since the nuclear war erupted. Very relatable to the Fallout games. We need to find a hydro processor before all bunker dwellers run out of fresh water, which is very prominent as well. Then Gary comes back saying, no offense, but I don't think playing dress up and running around the Badlands with a plastic pistol is really for me. And Albert says, dude, it's Nova, like a ton of fun actually. I'm serious, like brain dance is just a regurgitation. It's always the same story that you have to follow, but we here get to make the story as we go along. And then Gary says, so that's why LARP is $1 billion industry too. Albert is obviously laughing. Gary is not very happy, he's slightly skeptical, but if I was Gary, I'd be all over it, right? But very, very cool. Nice little nod by CD Projekt Red to other genres, as I said before in the intro. Fallout, especially in a kind of sci-fi world. I know Cyberpunk's a lot different in its approach, but it's very cool to kind of see these futures that may happen. Maybe even realistically may happen in as mankind grows and its needs grow. But yeah, very, very interesting. Shout out to Fallout. If you haven't played it already, what are you doing? Also, just a quick one while you're in the vicinity of the Fallout 101 shelter being here. If you come over to this kind of building on the map, you'll notice it's kind of a rundown shack, but it has one of those open doors into like a cellar type area. If you open it with 13 body, you're going to find yourself some mad loot. And of course, this isn't really a loot video, but I want to mention it as it's in the vicinity and it's so much loot. Look at all this ammo, all these euro dollars, and then you've even got the legendary dual layer microplate mesh nomad jacket for those nomad players out there. And a little bit something to read regarding get back to me fellas, what you say, you find yourself a new stash. And this, of course, I'll let you read that, but this is a stash for those people who got together to do so. So yeah, definitely pick it up. It's worth doing, once you reminisce or contemplate what they're doing in the Fallout LARPing over there. You can come here and get some rewards that might just cheer you up. The next secret location brings us to the Kabuki Market in Night City. As we all know, it's in the Watson area, a place that you may have visited many a time, especially for new characters. Closest fast travel point being Kabuki Market, of course. And you want to go to the northern side of the ring of shops down in the lower shopping area. You'll come up to these kind of XXX, 18 plus, etc, etc. What we want to do is go into the corner once you come down the stairs, the corner here where it says Snaps, Synapse and Roasters. Johnny will then jump up, telling you to get inside this area if you can, and it has obviously a yellow box where you can input a code. Now the code itself for this is 605 185, and that will unlock the door. You can click unlock. Once entered inside, you'll notice a lot of links to the Cyberpunk game itself. You've got the samurai logo there, arrows telling you to go somewhere, of course, and then you enter into what can only be the most solid man cave that I wish I had. The sofa, you know, computer setup, everything, and then Johnny spawns as well, giving a little, you know, what do we have here comment, which is very cool. And then you see there's what, 100-inch TV on the wall. If you place your ass on the sofa, as it says here, sit down on the couch, Johnny will get his guitar out, start playing some tunes, and you can turn on the TV and you'll see the developers' images start to spawn over and over again on the screen. It goes on for a long time, but this is an awesome little nod to those who made the game. Awesome for those players who stuck with the game as well. You know, because at least someone like myself, I appreciate what the developers have done, and the people that are on the screen right now, what they're continuing to do to make this game great. And it's cool to kind of have Johnny interacting to this area as well. But yeah, definitely check it out. A cool little thing to embrace and kind of get behind. And again, just a shout out to the developers for, yes, the game struggled at the start, but for those of us that stuck around and those of us that are now new and reaping the benefits, what a game we're playing, right? So yeah, awesome little location and Easter egg, I'd say. Off the back of finding the developer room, I just thought it was important to mention as well, there's another place that really immortalizes the developers themselves. So if you, the fast travel point in the city centre, named Arasaka Tower, if you go to there, it will bring you to here, and you walk towards Arasaka Tower and take a left. You'll notice that you've got a memorial type section, which they obviously use for, I guess, to remember 2023 when the Arasaka, obviously, tower, as we know, Mr. Johnny had his hand on it. If you walk through here, you can see some of the ruins of what happened to the tower itself, and then you'll come up to a door that is currently green, saying you can obviously unlock it as long as you have the code. To input the code itself is 2023, so just place the code inside, allowing you to unlock the door, and inside you'll also notice that all developer names are etched on the windows here. Another really cool feature, nice little nod to you know, the developers themselves, and I think again it just, I don't know, adds to the game world, right? Makes it more fun. The next secret location is a golden oldie, and it brings us to the top of the Watson area of Night City, more specifically the closest fast travel point being Abernathy Docks. Of course, there's Offshore Street as well if you haven't already unlocked it. Now, long-time players of the game will know you come here as part of the mission named Chipping In, which allows you to get not only Johnny's gun and jacket, but also his Porsche, which is very cool. I won't spoil any more than that. Just know you will come to this area. There's multiple ways to get in. Because I've already been in the area, this gate is open. You can, of course, climb up here, though, and unlock the crates here that would usually be closed. Or if you're coming here before you've done the last mission of the game, you'll have to hop over the fence there. And that's the first caveat to bring to mind. You're going to have to have completed one of the endings on the quest that's on my screen now, Nocturne OP55M1. Now, the specifics, etc., I'll leave for you to find out because I don't want to spoil the last quests. But essentially, one of the endings, which remember you can go back and repeat all endings, will allow you to have access to this area. So you want to walk through that door you just see me do, jump the fence, and then climb onto the ship here. You will also, again, be able to do this during the chipping in mission. You'll have to be fair. But you won't have access to this room, and it asks for a code, which I've tried to scroll the internet. I know everyone else has as well. We don't seem to be able to find the code for what it is. Now you'll come up, work your way around the side, and you'll see a door here that has a green light, which means it's unlocked automatically for me. And then there's a little nod as well to Morgan Blackhand here, which is called to take and read for lore. You unlock the door. Again, this will be closed if you haven't done the final mission. And coming in here, we'll enter the lair of Adam Smasher himself, which is pretty cool. You can see the weapons that he uses against you most of the times in his fights. You can see some classic turret systems and a lot of ammo. You can see his suit as well, one of his suits, which would have been awesome to be able to equip ourselves. Sadly, we can't do that yet. And then you'll have a wide range of weapons on the wall here that you can, of course, loot. More specifically, though, the main reason for coming here is in this crate here, there will be a legendary crafting recipe, which I'll show you in a second. And you've got some cool, lore there for us to read as well. But the main reason for coming here, as I said, is for the legendary crafting recipe that is named Bajing Chong. You can see here it's an unbelievable smart shotgun, which is one of the best ones in the game, if not the best one. Increased crit chance, crit damage, bleeding chance, burn chance, poison chance, and shock chance. Any chance you ever want, you've always got a chance with this weapon. Increased physical damage as well, and fires explosive rounds and rips enemies to shreds. Anyone out there that's rocking a shotgun build, this is got to be one of the best shotguns out there. By far. It just looks cool, sounds cool, and has a lot of cool features going for it as well, right? But yeah, a nice little Easter egg, nice little nod to one of the game's main characters. Cool to have his own little, area where he stores stuff. But yeah, if anyone does know the code to get in here beforehand, then let me know. It used to be a situation where you could quick hack yourself into the door and disable the lock, but even when you did that before doing the final quest, you couldn't get the legendary recipe. So just bear that in mind. You have to complete the final quest, Nocturne OP 55N1, to get into this area. And if it doesn't unlock straight away, it just means you haven't done the selected ending needed. But it should be okay. You can go back, of course, and redo endings or do all the endings like me if you want to be that anal. But yeah, Adam Smasher, go explore. Now, to end the video off, I thought it'd be good to not only show you, I guess it's kind of a secret location, but more of a exploit to get to a certain location. And that is how we get past the, the border patrol area and get over the fence so we can go and explore essentially where the Nomad's Life Path prologue mission started. Now, you can see I'm up on a fence. You're going to need to go over to where those rocks are and hop up onto the fence and essentially walk all the way around. There's a couple of things I recommend to do this, of course. Firstly, save the game periodically whilst you're doing it, because if you're anyone like me and you're clumsy on jumping puzzles, you're going to fall off and you're going to want to snap controllers if you don't save. So make sure you save along the way. Secondly, to do the next part of this, when it comes to hopping the fence, you're going to need a certain level of cyberware, and that is the fortified ankles. I'm a man who's partial to the double jump, but for this purposes, we're going to need that charge jump to get over the invisible wall. Now, this again is something that's been going on ever since Cyberpunk's release. We had old videos of glitching through the wall over there with the rocks. We had old videos of going on a little invisible pathway around here and going all the way around to the other side. This time, they've made it fairly simple. What you want to do is just hop up onto this kind of, higher part of the metal. Go right up close to the wall here. Look up and then just charge as far as possible. You'll notice that you may not officially get on the invisible wall. You may just be on the side here. That's absolutely fine. If you just charge up again, and you'll notice you'll climb up onto a much higher invisible ledge. You can now from here have great views for those of you who want to use the in-game camera, and of course you can make your way over the other side. Be careful though, there is of course enemies on the other side as well. You can see this person right there looking out for people like me trying to escape. Now you just fall down, take a bit of fall damage, and deal with that, and then make your way across the border without Trump ever knowing what happened. Now, as I said, this is an area that's not really a secret. Mostly this is used in this kind of assets used in the Nomad Life Path prologue mission, where you and Jackie have to transport some goods across the border into Night City, and this essentially would be the place that you would live as a character or as a nomad character anyway. So a lot of the assets are still, you know, are usable, and more importantly, you have access to a lot of different areas that you wouldn't have before. You can see I'm able to call in a vehicle, which is handy, though it's going to send me to Venezuela to pick it up. That's fine. Now, a couple of disclaimers as well. Not everything here is interactable. Of course, this was supposed to be used only for that prologue mission, not have much really meaning into the game, and also not really be accessible ever again to a certain extent, right? They might bring out some DLC that would allow that, but right now it's not really accessible other than glitching over the wall. There'll be certain areas you can loot. In these little caravans here, there'll be things like food and maybe some ammo that you can pick up. Nothing too crazy, but shows that the game still loads this area in, and it still has, you know, some meaning in terms of loot. Would be easily accessible if they wanted to do some DLC. And then you're going to head over to the area where is the main little town that you start off as a nomad. Of course, if you've never been a nomad and you've only ever been, you know, a corpo or a street kid, then you may not have seen this, which is cool. But you know, majority of us now, no doubt, have tried every life path when it comes to starting the game. Anyway, you take a right at that crossroads, and you'll come down into the nice town of, I think it's Yucca. Yep, Yucca, which of course the game still acknowledges as a new area. Now, in terms of this area itself, not a lot is accessible, as I said. Even simple signs like no vacancy, and I think one of these doors says die, die, die on it. Yeah, die, 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 which is, although it says open, die, die, die is not really allowing you to open, you know. But one area that is accessible is this auto parts car service, because this is where you go when your nomad vehicle breaks down. So you can see the door here, the garage here is openable, and so is this door. It automatically opens as well. Little things like using a vending machine is possible. I think there was some stuff to read potentially around here. Yeah, you can see here something you can read if you missed it before. You can use this side door to go into the garage area as well. Let's pick up some food, access to the computer, different files, etc. So it's still loading in these kind of things. But obviously, once you've gone out of the prologue mission, there's no reason to come back here at all. Still pretty cool though. Lots to explore out here. And I have seen a few videos lately as well with a few more glitches in this area. It allows you to go through into tunnels and make your way back into Night City. Lots of different things out here, which is interesting to look at. And I think even though these are glitches and exploits to get to these kind of places, as a location that's not accessible, there's still a lot to do here, and it's still valid in the game world, right? It's still somewhere that does exist, does have assets that are usable, and you never know, may be used in the future for other things. But yeah, let me know if you found any other cool areas out here in the comments below. And let me know in general in the comments below what was your favorite in this video. Is there any locations that we need to explore, as we said in the intro? Let's have a chat, and as always, we like to, you know, get your opinion and thoughts on the matter. But for now, like the video if you liked it, share with your friends and family, subscribe for more content like this one, and remember, don't be a gong.